Hello folks and welcome. This is going to be a different video as the idea evolved from just talking about what I'd like to see in the game into a collaborative effort with a couple other members of the noobs community, CandiSpirit and Ally. One of whom, CandiSpirit, is another YouTuber that follows the updates of the game and puts it up on her channel. I'll put a link to her channel in the description, so please check it out as she always stays up to date with what the devs are doing. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about, that I want to see, is the addition of more sauropods and the ability to whip. I think I've talked to some people about that because it's something I believe would actually be a really cool feature. And right now, the closest thing we have that is the Pew, the Puertosaurus, and it can sweep with its tail. But what I'm talking about is something different. I would want to see something, a sauropod like a Diplodocus that can, you know, has a very long tapered tail, and you can see it could only actually be made for that reason. You know, it can just whip the crap out of something and let everyone know who daddy is, which is me, by the way.
Yeah, that's the one with the round tail. Is that the one with the round tail? Round tail. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, no, it has like, let's say you're looking at me, even though I don't quite look it right now. Diplodocus tail is like, would be, you know, it's a sauropod, so it's built like a pew, but its tail is like even longer in proportion to, you know, what you see with me with this Utah, and it's tapered and it's like a whip. And so scientists and paleontologists, they said it could really only be for one reason to have it, because okay, so it's counterbalanced just like anything else, but it could have been shorter, you know, like it is on a pew or a brachiosaur, but it's really long and it's really thin and it tapers exactly like a bullwhip, and as such it can, you know, break the speed of sound really easy. And so what I'd love to see is, you know, that mechanic. So let's say Candy is where she is. She's a Rex. I'm a Diplodocus. So if I see, you know, this threat, how I think this could work is that I can hold down the left mouse button, so you can see it coil kind of like a snake, and it would get ready, and then I click the right button and then it would whip. So it takes action and it takes effort, but I think that would be really cool. But when it does, it hits, and it hits really freaking hard, but it would have to be in a certain zone. Like if you're too close, it's not going to hit. If you're too far, it's not going to hit. You know, the same with the left and the right. And okay, Speedy Gonzalez. Keep running around. But
was I supposed to be sitting and learning?
No, I don't give a shit. So, you know, to me, this would cause, you know, massive damage or bleeding, but that would be a way to not make it OP. So it's like you have to set up for it. So it could still have other attacks. I think this would actually be really cool, because I don't like the fact that, you know, sauropods right now, I mean, shit, we only have two, the Kama and the Pew. And right now, they really just have two attacks. You know, it does the stomp and the tail swoosh, and I'm not, you know, all about that.
Basically let them use their bodies more.
Yeah, it's use them like, you know, how they would be, and I think that would be a fun mechanic to put in the game, and I think people would enjoy playing that. I know I would. That's like one of the biggest things I want to see is like a Diplodocus, or, you know, something of, you know, that what am I trying to say? That genus, because there are a few of them that are like that as well. And it was cool. It's like if you see some documentaries out there, they done a test on one, and they had like an Allosaurus skull, and they went like super conservative, and it shattered the living piss out of it. And it was also
cool.
It is cool, because another thing is that you could also use it to this is another thing I think could balance out, because, you know, it does break the speed of sound, that it does, you know, make a very loud bang. They said it probably sounded like a cannon going off, you know, when that thing you know, swished its or whipped its tail. So for one, you could use it to scare away predators, but second of all is that it also announces where you are. So it would probably also make you think, should I use this? You know, what do you guys think about that?
I mean,
fuck, I don't know. I know, and this is all in the recode, correct? I don't know anything about it. I am just.
Oh, this isn't something that's announced. This is something that that the kind of stuff that I'm just coming up with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of how this would work. Yeah, you're like, I haven't fucking heard of that.
Just
That's because
ideas.
no one has. Yeah, this is just ideas that, you know, hopefully, you know, I would, if it's, you know, popular, people like this, then hopefully, you know, it gets put in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want more color variety. That's all. That's all.
Actually, that is another talking point. Let me get over to that. Let me see if I had some shit on. No, that's fine because I didn't put it on here, but actually let's talk about that because that would be nice to have, you know, unlockable features like different colors or patterns. Like right now,
different patterns would be nice.
yeah, I think different patterns would be cool. For one, the Utah right now, it has a very limited color palette, and I would like to see, you know, more. And what I think could be done is, let's just say they, you know, they have like almost mini questing game, like you kill 100 velos, you unlock this other color or whatever.
But yeah, to do like unlocks if you kill a certain amount of dinos or things like that, or exploration, like there's some games where if you've walked so many steps or so many miles, you unlock achievements.
Yep.
Oh, like a little, a stepometer or whatever they're called, you just hook onto your ankle. Sorry.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Which reminds me, because I remember someone who had that, and yes, a Fitbit. So she had a Fitbit, and she would post on there, you know, like on Facebook, saying, you know what she did and stuff, and I was like, wait, you're really not getting into shape. Well, I come to find out, basically, she's just sitting at home like at evening, and she's just twirling it around her finger, and each revolution is counting as a step. And I was like, okay, now I see what people are doing. So if you see they're posting all this information and you're not really seeing anything, then that's why they're cheating the system.
Now you can do that.
Yeah, well, don't cheat the system.
Yeah.
You're only cheating yourself.
Fuck it, do it anyway.
All right, next thing to
God, there's a cliff.
Yeah, there is. That's the one you tried to yeet yourself off of. Okay, so the next thing that's kind of related to the Diplodocus, if she comes over here and bites both of us.
I was thinking about it.
All right, so well, another thing I'd like to see is the trike being reworked to where it doesn't have the stomp ability, and it's actually changed into a charge mechanic.
So like if they sprint and it does more damage, like a sprint attack?
Yes, that's almost exactly it is. It's basically like a mini sprint in that it would be something short that would only take like a second and a half, and it would be like a two-step thing to where, kind of like, let's say, I'm running, but then I have to hold down, for a second, and then you have to release it at the proper time. So hold it down, it does a sprint, you release it, and it will throw the head up as well, so that it does the sprint, lowers the head, and then goes up. And I would love to see that knock the crap out of someone. But the thing is that that's how you view a trike. It's a big ass battering ram.
Yeah.
So let it do it.
Well, they have those, I don't know if it's going to be in the game, but what are they, patchy rhinos or something?
Oh, God.
Yeah, and
wouldn't that be more of a ram trike?
Yeah, and it would. And the thing is something like that could also be used on a Packy as well, because right now basically all it is it's even though it looks a bit different, the attack is essentially the same. Like if you're a Packy, you're running and you're biting, it's actually the exact same. It's just the animation looks different. It's just doing that quick attack. I would like to see it kind of the same way, to where you did that, you held it down, it gave you a short burst of speed, release it at the right moment, and you can ram the piss out of something.
Yeah.
So it does more damage. But if you mess up, let's say at the end of the attack, it slows you down.
I wonder if I would make it too OP. I mean, it would be nice.
Well, and also here's another thing that I also think with it as well, because right now you can turn while doing this. Let's say you're a Packy or a Trike, but if and when you're doing this attack, you cannot turn. It's basically when you're in, you're committed, and you have to nail it to get max effect. So be like press it and release, or it could just be you have to be a certain distance and match it at the right time, to get the full effect of it. So, and it's going to consume stamina, and that would be another thing, because stamina ends up being really precious. So, I mean, and again, it's just an idea, but I would like to see ramming dinosaurs being able to really ram.
That'd be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I do feel the trike is too slow, because with the stomp, you have to be lucky if you get that hit.
Yeah, you do, and it doesn't feel right, because I imagine it was probably just put in there to do something. Maybe they had like a charge mechanic in mind, and they weren't able to implement it for one reason or the other, but I think they could. And like I said, it's only someone's going to be like maybe 1.5 seconds, if that, maybe 1.5 seconds, and you pretty much have to nail it. It's going to be a skill shot that you have to do, and it can leave you vulnerable, because like I said, you can't turn during it. It consumes stamina. You slow down afterwards. I think it would actually be really cool.
Personally, I think if they had the stomp, I would like to see. They're already so OP, and it's insane.
Well, I think they're OP right now because the hitbox, and that actually brings me to another point. And
you hurt me.
Let me see, where did I put this?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Yeah. What are you doing?
She's on my ass.
Oh, right now the damage system, I think, leaves a lot to be desired. So, yes. So a Rex is actually a good example, because it bites to the left, after Z walks, and it's and it can hit all over the place.
Yeah. I think actually that point I think is actually being fixed.
I think it is too. I would like to see it further. So let's say I'm looking at Candy. That let's say if I were to attack her, if I were to bite the tail right now, it would be the same as biting your midsection or your head. It does the same damage. I would like to see that actually being enhanced, that you could take damage if I bit you on the tail, but it's going to be less. Yeah. If I bit you here, or maybe here, it's going to do more. So
I mean, it kind of does, because like going back to the trike, the stomp only kills if it's on the head.
Yeah, but it's the hitbox are so all over right now. It's weird. It's very weird, especially fighting against a Rex. It's like you basically just flip a coin whether you're going to die or not. So I'd like to see it be able to be distributed.
I was typing.
Yeah, well played, Ally. Another thing I want to talk about. So, do you have dogs?
Yes, I have 2 Saint Bernards.
Oh God, that's a lot of poop to clean up.
I don't clean up poop. My daughter does.
Oh God, animals like that. Believe it or not, dogs, they can navigate a bit using the Earth's magnetic field, and that's how a lot of birds traverse the world. Like some of them fly thousands of miles and they end up in the same exact place, because they can guide themselves off the Earth's magnetic fields. So the game as it is now has something like that. When you sniff, the compass comes up, but why do you need to sniff for that? I think that's something that should probably always be on.
I agree. I agree, because when then it rains, like you can't. I agree with like when it rains, not being able to sniff.
But the compass should still be there.
Should always be there, because that's just that.
Yeah, animals know where they're going.
I think they feel it in their gut.
They,
I don't know.
Yeah, they do. They basically have a. What?
You guys want to see how ugly my uniform is?
Well, come up here. Oh God. Did you just fall in a bag of Cheetos?
They're cute.
I don't know what. But oh my god, I don't like it.
Yeah, but speaking of sniffing, you know, I this is something I actually talked with Candy about, and I'm cool that I'm glad that they showed it in that video that you showcased, Candy, was you know, the enhanced smell. But I want to take it a step further. That, let's say, like us as Utahs, let's say, you know, we smell, but then we're able to discern, you know, what tracks are a predator and, you know, what is a herbivore. Maybe it's you know, different color. But something like a Rex, they have, like, you know, one of the largest olfactory glands in history. Their smell was super incredible. So let's say Rex being the extreme example, and this would be another reason to play them or some other dinos that are maybe like that, is that if you smell, like, all the tracks could be different colors, you know, associated to certain animals, so they could track what they wanted. Right now, you just see stuff as like, okay, it's all yellow. I want to see something to where, you know, the smell could be really used, you know, to your advantage to track what you want.
Herbivores and yellow for carnivores or something. Or do you want specific?
Yeah, it's like, well, let's say for Utahs, let's say, you know, Utahs isn't as good, so you would have maybe a 2 or 3 different colors, but a Rex, you would see many different colors, you know, for the footprints. So, you know, I just sniffed and I can see, you know, these tracks here, and they're all yellow.
Yeah, and in my last video with the tracks, they did say that was just stage 1, so maybe they'll be tweaking it more.
Yeah,
how you're talking.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know if they thought of it, you know, to that level, but let's say, you know, the Rex, it would see its own tracks as one color, but it would see our tracks as a different color. And if we were different dinos, like if I was a Dilo, you would see me as a different color than the Utah.
Yeah.
And to me, that would, you know, that would say, hey, I have to get used to playing this dino more to, you know, figure out, you know, what tracks are what, more things. But okay, so you see like this kind of smoke or flame thing coming up from them, and it kind of obscures it a bit, and it is a little hard to zoom in and, you know, look. But go ahead and take a couple steps, Candy. I want to see yours. Yeah, so they do leave footprints, and you can see that Candy's footprints are different than mine.
Yeah, you'd have to really be looking at it. So yeah, I have to agree, it'd be nice to have it more pronounced. Is that the word? Yeah,
and I think it'd be cool, but it would also force people to get to learn the game better. Like, if you have this really good sense of smell and you could use it, that it forces you to learn the dino more. Okay, die. Just die. Sacrifice. Next thing I want to talk about was grouping incentives, because just like Rockstar's already know, groupies can be great.
Oh my god.
Many purposes.
But, you know, in the aisle right now, the only thing that grouping provides is just more people. And people could be more finicky than the dinos they play. So imagine getting like an aura bonus for grouping 3 or more parasaurs. And then something like they're able to maneuver more quickly or smell much faster. And, you know, we're talking about, you know, the mix packing before, and I know they had something that, let's say you group some carnivores with herbivores, it could lead to stress. So that's kind of one way to do it. I think it'd be cool that, let's say some of the lesser played dinos, that you group up in, you know, certain numbers. Like if you get to 3 or more of something, now suddenly start getting things like these bonuses. Stuff like maybe your hunger, maybe your hunger lasts longer and stuff.
You know, yep, like a group buff.
Yeah,
do more damage if you have like 5 of the same dino or something.
Yeah, because you know, a lot of these animals, you know, kind of like things today, like deer, cattle, stuff like that, they are group animals. It would be extremely rare to find them, you know, just all by themselves all the time. So, you know, give the incentives for, you know, what they do. They are herding animals. But conversely, you look at stuff like apex predators, that they want to be alone, and that's still true today. You know, it's like lions and wolves, you know, being the exception. I love how you guys are just going around me to try to do damage. That's great. Thank you. But yeah, so let's say you put more than 2 Rexes in. Now suddenly you start getting a negative buff.
Yeah, you can do that.
So you could, so you could do that. So you could be together, but you're going to pay for it. Stuff like that, I think, will help, you know, balance it out as well.
Well, I mean, it might go into something because they're talking about stress levels and stuff like that.
Yeah, so hopefully it's something being worked on, and I would love to see, you know, it be more advanced that, you know, herding dinosaurs, it gives you an incentive to play them, and then Apexes gives you more incentive to be alone. All right, already talked about the damage system. Oh, one of the other things I'd love to see, because both of you are admins in the game, this game needs better admin tools.
Yeah.
Right now it's not very good. I don't think anyone's going to hide that fact. One thing that I would like is like, let's say you hit a button and a GUI comes up, and you could, let's say it could be like where you are, and you could set waypoints around the map. Let's say right now we're on Thenya, you know, a lot of places we have to go are like Party, you know, Paradise, and let's say you could set waypoints so you could go there, and then from there, like, also you could have a list of you know, people's names, and you can send them to these locations, so you don't have to go there, bring them there, and stuff. That
or bring send that.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So I think it'd be better, because right now, like, you know, you see some people's names that you can't just type.
Yeah.
So it would be nice if there was a GUI, you know, there, and then, you know, buttons there like send to, you know, waypoint 1, but you can rename waypoint 1 Party, waypoint 2 Paradise, whatever. So you send them.
Plus, I think that would make the gameplay for the admins a lot easier as well, because then we can still play. Yes, we might. I mean, I personally think if you're an admin, you know, like when you type, you mark, whatever. I would personally like to see that taken away for admins for that reason. Like if we're hunting something, you know.
Well, and not only that, so
out quickly.
Yeah, so sometimes you also have to put yourself in danger to bring someone somewhere. So I see exactly what you're saying. So like, you know, last night, you know, I just went to someone and immediately died because it just happened to be in the middle of a battle.
Yeah, you did that to me yesterday too. I think I spawned to someone.
Oh yes, yeah, that was you. That was funny as hell. It's like both of us died at the exact same time. Yeah. Either way, I think there just needs to be better admin tools, and it doesn't just help the admins. It's going to help the players, because admins will be more efficient at that point.
And to piggyback off of that, when you go in spectate mode at nighttime, it should be daytime.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Right now it's it could be a pain to, you know, try to find where you are at night, because okay, you don't have a compass, because even though, like we talked earlier, the compass should always be on. So if it's dark, if it's pitch black, and you know you can't see around your night vision aura, you have no idea where you are, no idea where you're going. So it leaves kind of a bit desired. I think if they did things in a more GUI fashion, maybe you could still do commands, but you know, right now you have to, you know, type out everything. If everything was laid in a GUI format, I think things could be done a lot more efficiently.
Think of slime every time he says GUI.
I know, like GUI. Like,
GUI, GUI, graphic user interface.
Oh, okay. I'm like, why is the line?
Yeah, I wanted it to be sticky and ugly. Kind of like me.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. But yeah, I would like to see that, because I know that, I don't know for sure on other servers, but now being an admin, it definitely is harder to actually be able to play. I mean, I don't think I've actually like killed a single player by fighting them.
I haven't really played since I became an admin either.
I mean, I am maybe on every other day now, and I mean, as soon as I get on, I'm dealing with something, which is fine. I don't mind, but
Yeah, there's sometimes
just make that little part.
Or like the incognito mode.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah. So you can turn your admin off.
Yeah,
that would
so
be
you
nice.
Just be invisible or have it not show that you're on. So
Yeah, that I think would actually be a really good idea too, is being able to turn admin off, because let's say there's plenty of admins on right now. Well, I don't need to be admin, but people are going to bug you to be admin. So if someone else has got it covered and they're like, yeah, that's fine, go ahead and play around, then that's fine. Turn your admin mode off.
Yeah.
And you can run around and do whatever.
Yeah. Personally, I think it would also be cool to, now I don't know how you would do this, but to still be an admin, but like not have to be, you can kind of like, it's kind of like shutting off your admin, but I wouldn't actually play, so that everyone could see, no one could see that I was on, but I'd be able to just fly around and record and make sure everybody's okay, just so I can, like, if I hear there's an issue with a certain player, I could just log on and be kind of incognito, and so they don't know I'm on, and I can catch them doing something. But I don't know how you do that. I don't know if that makes sense. But.
Yeah, no, I get that. Is that, because sometimes people are going to try to behave when you're around, but then as soon as you turn your back, they're going to be naughty. And sometimes, that an incognito mode, may be nice to do that, to where you're not being distracted by other things. So there's a couple options there, and I would think it should be fairly easy to implement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if it is, but do I know how to do it? No, I don't know how to program for shit, but...
I mean, coding.
Yeah.
I watched a 10-hour video of it yesterday.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, and then she ended up not recording like 2 hours of it.
Oh,
yeah, I still have to finish it, but God, I was so upset.
It's like Tropic Thunder, the scene happens and they find out the camera wasn't even rolling.
Yeah.
Shit.